Newcastle United went on to win the Europa League, which made them a lot less appealing to try and go for that vacancy if it came up. And it also really cancelled out any options in England for Europa League and FA Cup. And eventually they hired Pochettino, who was already out of the door at PSG after finishing in second place. To which Dad was offered an interview for that role immediately, as well as the Atalanta job, which also became available and was rather appealing to me, seeing as I still needed to go to Italy. They've got some cracking players. Slot then left Manchester United to become the PSG manager, a United team that recently won the Europa League. And Dad was really tempted by the upcoming Leipzig job, especially because technically that would be a step up for him. Not to mention their transfer budget was massive. I could even go there and make sure Dad doesn't win anything. Annoyingly for Dad, he could only declare interest for the job and not apply despite the vacancy just popping up. And Thomas Tuchel was announced as their manager, which made things very interesting because that left the Inter Milan job with £180 million in the transfer budget available, and I was straight on it despite being interested in the Man United job and returned to Italy. But they also wanted to interview their old manager, my father, for the job too, but he turned it down and I eventually was offered the role. But then I shot myself in the foot because the Bayern Munich manager was then favourite to take the Chelsea job, and Chelsea had put a bid in. And soon enough, the French manager Deschamps had moved to Chelsea, while my dad also reminded me of the butterfly effect that caused a similar thing to happen when he left the same job. Which makes it the perfect opportunity for Dad to pounce to Bayern Munich and possibly complete Germany in one season if he played his cards right. And an interview followed really shortly. And while that was going on, Dad's next match was actually against Bayern Munich. But a final twist, Dad was unsuccessful in getting the vacancy he so craved, and Pep Guardiola was hired instead. And the new Bayern Munich boss brought Dad's Leverkusen team right back down to earth, destroying them 5-1 just days after being appointed as manager. Dad, the club that turned you down.
Everybody else was trying to get me, and I turned all them down. I went for this job, and they turned me down, and they stuck me in the first game.
They completely wiped the floor with you as well, 5-1. Obviously, they took on Pep Guardiola, who left the Arsenal role, which was troubling for me in a way because they've previously won FA Cups. They've got this man as a caretaker manager right now who's quite good actually, but he was their under-21s manager. He's been there since 2022. They haven't took over a manager yet. They are still, by the looks of it, looking for one, and Zinedine Zidane is the leading candidate, and he's the Real Madrid manager. And there's a bid in for him as well to go to Arsenal. So the manager merry-go-round that we always mention is still going on. The butterfly effect that we had when you were the Chelsea manager and left happened again, because I thought it was going to bite me in the ass.
If I got that Bayern Munich job,
that's the biggest job that you could have got.
I mean, I tried the Leipzig job as well, didn't I? They turned me down as well, didn't they? So
well, that one was weird because you couldn't apply for the role.
No, they didn't turn me down. I just couldn't apply for it, could I?
And it was only 2 days after the manager left. It was almost like they already had a manager ready to replace before the guy left.
I'm just waiting for the Dortmund job now.
Well, they go for the quadfecta of all four. But you're not the only one who had a bit of movement, or attempted to move anyway. I'm no longer with Chelsea, as we mentioned, and I am with Inter Milan. This one come about simply off the back of a few different managers changing, the PSG role coming up. Pochettino, who actually would look like he was insecure, left. And I couldn't turn down the Inter Milan job for the simple fact that, 4 or 5 years ago, I said no to it before even applying for it because a lot of their players were too old. They've replaced very well. Like Thomas Tuchel, who was here previously, I think it was Thomas Tuchel, did a very good job at putting new players in, some of the best players I've ever seen, and they had an extremely good budget. So I don't know actually whether they had some kind of transfer takeover promotion tycoon. It failed. Tycoon failed. So no, they haven't. They haven't had a new Tycoon takeover or anything.
No.
But for some reason, I had 180 million to spend. I wasn't complaining, so I made the move because Chelsea, I had no transfer budget. I had to start selling players.
Probably you've still got to go back there for that FA Cup, isn't it?
Go back.
It's haunting you, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That could be my lifesaver, really.
Yeah.
Because you're struggling to get that one.
Yeah. Well, that was 4 or 5 seasons at Chelsea. 2 seasons, obviously, at Newcastle, failing to get that. It is what it is, I guess, but I'm now at Inter Milan, and I've put myself in a very good position to finish Italy in a
one go. Yeah.
Because this team is unbelievable. So let's have a look at my side to begin with. And I have, once again, as I always do in Italy, struggle with the non-EU players. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. I don't understand it. It tells me the information that I need to do. I listen, I do that information, and it still doesn't work. And I don't understand it, whether it's something that I'm reading wrong, something that the game's doing wrong, whether the rules are wrong. I don't know, but it didn't work. And I'm a little bit frustrated about it.
Don't worry about it, son. Don't worry about it. Mummy will look after you. Just go downstairs and have a cuddle with Mummy. She'll calm you down.
Shut up. How's Bayern Munich job getting on? Right, so...
He signed one really good player and he couldn't put him in the team.
I can't put him in the team. So I signed Joni Antman, the second Arsenal player that I signed for a good centre midfielder, because I had already got this guy in as a non-EU player because I was allowed one this season. Brought him in. Absolutely fine. He registered. And then it told me, I forgot to be honest, that he was also a non-EU. I thought, okay, so now I just need to sell a non-EU player to a foreign league. That's how I understand the rules. You cannot sell them to a league that's, well, an Italian team, because it won't work.
They've got to leave the country.
They've got to leave the country.
Yeah.
So Carlos Mosquera, who was Colombian, a non-EU player, went to Al Riyadh, who...
It's not in Italy.
That definitely in Italy. And I still can't register Joni Antman for some reason, and it still tells me until next season or another non-EU player is sold. Why do I need to sell two then? Makes no sense, but now I'm without a really good centre midfielder that I spent £68 million for the rest of the season. So I'm a little bit frustrated with that.
He's not too happy.
No. I bet. He's come over here and then he just can't play for a season.
He's on a year's holiday.
Yeah. So anyway, the players that they did sign already. Mason Mount came in on a free. That was also a non-EU player, so I guess...
But you never had nothing to do with that, did you?
No,
it was already done.
That was already there. And I think they'd already sold another non-EU... Yeah, I sold Cher Lacey.
Yeah, you did, yeah. To
another non-EU player.
Yeah, so you got rid of two.
Yeah, so I got rid of two and I can't bring in two. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. Vincent Collett was another signing before I moved to the club. This guy's unbelievable, 27 years of age, and they sign him for peanuts, 19 off the ball, good with both feet, love that, fantastic player. I needed a centre-back. That's the position that when I come into the club, I thought that's their weakest position. Manchester United have one for £115 million Greek. I took the deal. He's very good. 19 for positioning, 18 for marking, good pace about him as well. Alright, he's only 6 foot with not very high jumping, reach and bravery, but I don't care. He's good at doing the defensive stuff and positioning wise, so I think that's a really good signing. So those are the signings that I made, as well as Nicolas Samame, who was the Peruvian player that I bought in to be a ball-winning midfielder type of role, because he's probably one of the best in the world at doing that, and he's only 25, so good signing. The rest of the team, and I've lined up like this, the rest of the team is still decent. We've got Endrick from when Dad signed him, although he is out for like another 10 weeks. They've got Bove, who Dad obviously signed as well. They've got this man, Adam Walker, English.
He's really good, isn't he?
He is fantastic. We've tracked his career for a while, haven't we? Because we remember when he was at Tottenham and he left for 20 million. Ridiculous, really. So they've got some fantastic players. They've got the right back that Dad signed when he was here. They also got the keeper that Dad signed at Real Madrid. They signed him on a free, so that was a good deal for them as well. Bastone is still here, so some cracking players. Profondi as well. They got a really good bench as well. They've really filled out the side compared to when Dad was here. I'm playing this 4-2-2 kind of asymmetric formation. To say it's done well is a bit of an understatement. 5-1 against Bologna first game of the season, 9-1 against Salernitana, 4-3 against Lazio away. You might think, oh, that's a close one. Lazio have an unbelievable team.
Good side.
We've seen a couple of their players, including their key player, who's a right winger, and then they've got a striker. Roberto Martinez is the manager, so maybe that's their main weakness. Their striker, this guy, is phenomenal, because I almost bought him for 111 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's their team, and I managed to do them 4-3 at their place. So things are going well. I'm hoping I can get the league and Coppa Italia done in one season. Then I just need to look for an English club using Europa League. That's all I need to do.
You're in a really strong position, I think.
I think
I'm a little bit worried.
the pendulum swung when Bayern Munich said no.
Yeah, 100%.
Because as soon as you got that Bayern Munich job, it's like, oh, I think that's game over for me.
Well, when it came up as vacancy, didn't it? You went, oh no, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you knew exactly what I was going to do. So
yeah,
it's just turned in your way a little bit, I think, with this team.
the back and forth of who's got the advantage in this series is mental because now I feel like I have an advantage even though I'm a trophy down.
Yeah.
Because that Bayern Munich team's way too good right now. You've just been battered by them. So you only scrape through the cup.
Yeah.
I mean, let's have a look at your cup run. You only scrape through the cup. We'll have a look at the players that Dan signed in a minute. 5-3 against Karlsruhe after extra time.
I did muck about with the squad at that time, though, didn't I? And I was
Only
trying
a little bit.
I had a different tactic.
Yeah.
And I played a couple of players that were going to be reserve players, really, just to get them in. And I got away with it. But I can't afford to do it again now, especially since I need to win that cup.
Because you've lost 2 league games already. Wolfsburg was a 3-1 win, but then you've lost 2 league games and you've only got 34 games to play in the Bundesliga. So already in the league, but what we did say was if you jam out and get into the Europa League, that's a huge advantage for that
definitely,
season.
Yeah.
So because that's going to be whoever can get their hands, whoever can get their team or find a team in the Europa League first, who has a chance to win it,
they become favourites.
They instantly become favourites.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I think right now that move, or that lack of move to Bayern Munich, that didn't happen, kind of puts it in my favour now, looking at how strong my Inter Milan team is.
100%.
I started signing some good players for Chelsea, by the way. I stayed there. I was happy there until the Inter Milan job came up and I couldn't turn it down.
No.
But let's have a look at the signings that you did make, Dad. We're doing this kind of back to front, but it would make sense, the reason why, because obviously that happened. So last season, this season now you sold another £83 million. You've had a few players that went out, including João Rego for £30 million. There's another winger went out for £18 million. Ozer, who was like a backup striker, going out for £13 million. And I think you've actually replaced quite well.
Yeah.
Cristiano Rodriguez, from Sporting, so fantastic name, comes in as a really good centre attacking midfield.
I bought this guy for the future, really, more than anything. When I was saying I messed about with the tactics and got players in, I did play this guy in the cup game, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just to let him have a go, really, because I don't think he'll play
as many. No. But for £9 million, it's
I think
a
it's a
bargain,
good buy,
really.
yeah.
$30 million for a centre back.
Yeah.
It's a good one too. Good with both feet. Mentals are kind of lacking, but yeah, he ain't bad. From Ajax,
that was my weak position, I felt, in the team at this present moment. So I needed another one. I took a bit of a chance with this guy because he was injured when I bought him. Right?
Yeah, he broke his leg.
He was out for 2 months, so he's just come into the team now. So as you can see, he's only played 2 games, really.
Yeah, and only 1 start.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it starts to get better now with him.
Yeah, a £1.5 million deal for Julian Munoz, who your scouts recommended.
This was a bargain, wasn't it?
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah.
£1.5 million
for
how good he is.
Yeah.
Even if you don't play that role, you're like, that's silly, because it's a 3.5 star compared to the rest of your team. So for 1.5, it makes no sense passing that up. And then your biggest signing, Romeo Lavia from Torino.
Yeah, I just had to strengthen up my midfield a little bit more. They were a little bit weak in that position.
Yeah.
And he plays a couple of the positions that I play, so I got him in.
Yep, absolutely. Experience in there.
Yeah.
So your tactic looks like that. Your best 11 looks like this. Now, Vlachos has been suspended because he got sent off in the last game, but it's very similar to the 11 that you had last year, with a couple of obviously new players coming in, including Munoz, who you obviously signed. But it hasn't gone very well.
Well, that tactic you've shown there, I only played the Hamburg game in.
Yeah.
So I had a different tactic before that, which I was playing a defensive midfielder.
You were playing Diamond as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah. So I just changed it quickly to more attacking with the winger. And I'm hoping that just because the Hamburg was right on when I changed it, they haven't got used to that tactic yet, so I'm hoping I improve from now on. But obviously I've got Man City coming up.
And they've been winning everything right now. So you've got Man City in the Champions League. You also got Bayern Munich, who just won the treble recently.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to be tricky to defeat them. But yeah, they obviously went for Pep Guardiola back at Bayern Munich. So it's funny how things turn around just like that. There's been some weird manager movements in the last couple of years, which has been quite entertaining. But okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. This season's quite a big one, because if I can get Inter Milan to win both the Italian Cup and the Scudetto, I am well and truly in the driving seat. I just need that one last move to a good enough
Yeah.
English side of the Europa League.
I'm hoping it's going to take about 3 years to do that, to win both. So
I mean, the FA Cup's cursed. I ain't never winning that. I reckon I'll probably win the Europa League before I win the FA Cup at this point, because that trophy has completely eluded me this whole time. But let's see what happens during this season. My Inter Milan team continued a rich run of form in the Serie A, beating everyone in our path. Everyone until we faced our rivals AC Milan, that is. But we still managed to open up a huge lead going past the halfway point in the league campaign. Meanwhile, Dab was eliminated from the DFB Pokal in the second round. And despite demolishing Man City 3-0, the performances had been shocking for Dad, who's seen some really bad runs which led to the supporters being very disappointed in the job he was doing. And Bayer Leverkusen dropped down to 9th place in the Bundesliga. And into the new year, things were only getting worse until the inevitable happened. And Dad was given his marching orders by the club and was sacked. I would have rubbed it in more if it wasn't for the fact that I was very busy at the end of the season. Oh dear, Dad.
didn't deserve that, did I? I can understand it if I'd done really bad, but come on, I didn't deserve that.
Sacked from the Bayer Leverkusen job, where at the time you were sacked, you finished in 9th place. You were in 9th place. They didn't finish in 9th place. In fact, they finished in 6th, which would have been a Europa League spot if it wasn't for the fact that Gladbach defeated Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal final.
Yeah.
Somehow Stuttgart won the league. We don't know how. This is their key player.
We've looked through their team and we can't find why they won that league, can we?
Guess who their key player is? Yannick Ameke.
Yeah.
Never heard of him. So, I mean, yeah, we've had a look and we're not quite sure, like, why. I mean, yeah, I guess why. We know why. You were knocked out of the cup.
Right.
You were 9th in the league.
Yeah.
Your season was over. They cut ties.
Yeah.
They've already replaced you with Marco Silva. He came in quite early because you were actually sacked in April.
Yeah.
After 2 years and 124 days. So he's only actually been in the job 37 of those days. Yeah, it's not gone great for you there.
Frankfurt being relegated as well. That's unbelievable as well, isn't it?
Let's not change the subject.
Just trying to get away from this.
You finish in 6th place.
Yeah, I'm a free agent now, so I'm looking for another job now.
Now, the perfect scenario, as we can see, is if the Leipzig job came up, because them finishing in 5th place, they've got a great team. And guess what? On the job security, Thomas Tuchel is insecure, so you can, of course,
And Pep Guardiola,
because they didn't win the league or the cup.
No.
You can, of course, declare interest in both of those jobs.
Got it, haven't I?
Look who else is in a precarious position. Andre Villas-Boas in Napoli. And that's because if you have a look at Inter Milan, we are champions by 17 points. Napoli down there in 7th. They've just won the league.
Only lost 3 points.
Boom.
3 games.
Look at that. Absolutely incredible. We were top of the league from week 1.
Yeah.
All the way through. We did not drop off. We only lost 3 games. They were 3 away games. We drew 4 games. 3 of them were away games as well. We had a phenomenal season. Scored 130 goals as well. Unbelievable. Profundi with the top score of 21. Don't know how he's that low.
Look at your goal difference as well.
Yeah.
91.
Plus 91. We had 2 of the highest average ratings, 2 of the highest assisters. We had an unbelievable time.
We knew it was a good team. I mean, I was just hoping that you didn't win both.
Yeah. Well, did I? I did.
1 season.
1 season. Beating Napoli in the final, putting Andre Villas-Boas' job into a precarious position. Defeating my old club with your old club.
Your favourite now?
I have to be.
2 trophies is all you need.
2 trophies to your 3. Although, well, you're not in a job, so
No.
I mean, yes, there's a perfect job for you.
I was hoping that I got away with this season, you know, and get a good budget, because I felt I was 1 or 2 players short with Leverkusen.
Turns out it's about 5 or 6.
No, I'm scored short now.
You're a job short of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've completed Italy.
Oh god, that's oh Gosh, the money. Now I'm worried now.
So I can move on. I mean, I've had a great season there, £51 million. So I spent that budget from last season really well. It's been a great time.
Is there any teams available in the
Well, that's
Europa
the
League
thing.
spot or in England?
There's only one job right now, which is in the Serie A. There's a precarious job at Napoli. Insecure jobs. The only one that's in a Europa League spot is Leipzig. But we all know, as soon as I leave this Inter Milan job, that could start something.
Yeah.
But I got to time it right.
And are we in an international year?
We are indeed. We are in the 2036, which, if I am correct, is the year of the European Championships, which is about to be taking place in Spain. So, who knows what international
like
jobs
you say, that always
gets thrown
creates
up.
something at the end, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Because, of course, the last time like the England manager job come available, Liam Manning is the manager at the minute, who came from Fulham. Like, he came out of absolutely nowhere. So, however they do, our eyes are going to be quite peeled on how that happens, on what happens in there. Of course, I need to go to England. My team, Chelsea, this is the only downside of this season. Didier Deschamps finished in second place, but he won the FA Cup. I don't know why you're laughing. You got sacked. I didn't. I won 2 trophies this year. I mean, yeah, alright. I was cursed and I could not win the FA Cup with Chelsea. They go and win it the year that I leave. That's absolutely fine, okay? I'm alright with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well.
I don't want to go back to Chelsea, though. Because the thing is, 2 clubs in the English leagues are in, of course, European spots for Europa League. And that is Liverpool and Manchester United. So ideally, one of those jobs comes available. Liverpool, I think, have the better team by the looks of it, and only 8 million transfer budget, probably not. Nagelsmann is currently their manager. I don't know whether I think he's got like a stable job, because last season they were had really bad finances. They were deducted 9 points. The season before, well, last season again, actually, Manchester United finished in 11th, I think. They haven't been very, very good. They got Kieran McKenna, who's actually done quite a good job to take them back there. The 2 clubs that they got is not very good.
The key player is worth 210, so what's he like?
Sorensen is a very good striker,
Lord almighty.
but he's classed as a right winger, which is
Yeah.
a bit strange. So, yeah, I mean,
Man United is your dream, innit?
Man
If you
United
went there
to
and
complete glory hunt there.
managing Man United, that's perfect story for you, innit?
Yeah. But it's
I
all down.
can't see me being at Spurs and winning anything.
No. So I could do with Kieran McKenna like darting off,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. And then, I mean, we'd both be applying for it.
If England don't do well in the Euros, someone like that could take the England
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
I know he's Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
but you know he's
Doing well
I
in
don't know-
domestic league.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
Other storylines which happened, which made me absolutely wet myself. Now, we're on Inter Milan. I was eliminated in the semi-final of the Champions League by Real Madrid. The semi-finals also included Arsenal and Manchester City, which meant the final is between Real Madrid and Arsenal. And remember correctly that Zinedine Zidane
yeah.
was about to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
He made that move. So now you're thinking, wow, he's against his
own
old
team.
club
Yeah.
in the final. No, he isn't. Because Zinedine Zidane was sacked, and it's now Xavi as the manager. And guess who took over Zinedine Zidane's job as a caretaker role, because he was Zidane's assistant manager, Jamie Vardy. He was the assistant manager of last season.
you can see why,
and also
can
the
you?
caretaker. Why?
He ain't that good.
No, not at all. But Zidane was sacked. He's now unemployed, so that's another manager we got to contend with.
That's a problem for me.
Especially for me too. He's already been a manager of both Liverpool and Manchester United.
Yeah, you might want to go to Germany.
So
Take the Real Madrid job, the Bayern Munich job. I'll have the Leipzig job.
yeah, it's all to play for now, and it gets interesting and more interesting every single season. But
Out of curiosity, though, who did win the Champions League then?
well, that's
It
it.
hasn't been played
It
yet?
hasn't been played.
Oh, right.
Between the two.
I'd like to think the Xavi won it.
So it's going to be played between our old club Real Madrid
Yeah.
and Arsenal, who none of us have an allegiance with, so I want Real Madrid to win because I've got loyalty, and clearly you don't because you want Xavi to win it.
I'm just thinking of him playing against Real Madrid, but now I'm looking at it and thinking it's Arsenal. I don't want Arsenal
Exactly.
to win
It's
it.
a weird thing with you in Arsenal. You always buy their players, you're supporting them now. What's going on there? So, that leaves us with the first time that we can add some trophies to the Glory Hunter cabinet in about 3 seasons. So I'm really excited. Let's have a look at those Glory Hunter cabinets. I had a wonderful time in Italy, lifting both the league and cup to add to my trophy cabinet, leaving just 2 trophies remaining. Diving ahead of Dad again as the pendulum swings in my favour, but where will both of us end up next?